Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon to my friends on the East Coast, my friends in the Central Time Zone. Enjoy these next 6 minutes of this beautiful morning. And to my friends out west, you still have plenty of morning to enjoy. Hello there. Welcome to Option Pit. My name is Mark Sebastian. I am the founder and CEO of OptionPit.com. And I'm going to bring Hannah and Andrew on in just a moment. But I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit while we're waiting for them to arrive about kind of what's happened over the last couple of days and why today's presentation is so important. Friday was a giant sell-off. In one day, we wiped out what amounts to an entire month's of gains in the S&P, in the triple Q, you name it. Now, here's a question for you guys. How many of you saw this one coming? Type 1 if you saw it coming. Type 2 if you did not see it coming. Right. I don't think anybody saw it coming. Now, yeah, I don't think anybody saw this coming. But at the same time, the question coming out of that move is, what do you do now? Because under the radar, there are some big winners out of what happened on Friday. We all know who the losers are, right? The losers are the tech stocks that rely on China. Amazon, Apple, Nvidia, Tesla. You have a little less Google in there. You definitely have some Microsoft, little less Meta. So those are your big losers. But on Friday, it was a throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Because what was this China tariffs thing about? What was the China tariffs thing about? Type 1, if you think it was Trump being a blowhard, and type 2, if you think it was about China hoarding rare earth and other minerals. Type 3, if you think it was both. All right, now we got people thrown in with some threes. Right. Andrew, who will be here momentarily, says it's a combo of both. All right, now, there are a couple things that we absolutely need. And Trump made that mission critical and clear on Friday. Raw materials are incredibly important to the United States and our security. There are two things that are really important to our security, right? The raw materials. Why? Because they go into tech, they go into cars, they go into copper wire, they go into everything. Those are critically important. Now, the other piece that is critically important is healthcare, making America healthy again. So far, the generics have not really seen the brunt of Chinese tariffs, but look at what Trump and the administration have been doing. Did you notice them cutting deals with Pfizer, with Bristol Myers to lower drug costs? How many of you noticed, and type 1 if you caught this one, there are a lot of, and 2 if you did not, there are a lot of tariffs proposed around bringing medical manufacturing. I'm talking pills, shots, antibiotics back to the United States. How many of you caught that? It was more under the radar, right? Everyone's looking at NVIDIA. Everyone's looking at AMD. And to a lesser extent, everyone's looking at rare earths and copper and steel. And for my British friends, aluminium. But the other piece that is so important to our national security is making America healthy again. And part of that is fixing the supply chain. A dangerous amount of our antibiotics are produced in China. And so today's presentation, all right, I talked to you a little bit in State of the Market earlier today about why raw materials are such an awesome opportunity. And Andrew and Frank have been all over that in capital gains. But the other piece that is under the radar that I don't believe anybody's getting yet, except for Andrew and Hannah, is making America healthy and how that healthcare portion, the supply chains, the reduced drug costs, the removing of dyes, how that falls under such a priority for this administration. So now that I've kind of set the table for why you're here, what I'd like to do is bring on your host. Hopefully she's...
Hi, Mark.
Folks, this is Hannah Selner, Hannah J. Selner. She is our Director of New Product Development. She instituted and ensures what we call CRT here: consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. And what you're about to see around the MAHA movement, around national security, is CRT approved, and Hannah's ready to kind of walk you through that with our own director of education here at Option Pit, Andrew Giovinazzi. So,
hello, everyone. Thank you, Mark, for the lovely introduction. I like your Bears shirt.
thank
You
you.
love to rep a Chicago sports team.
I do love to wrap it. Well, last night's win was ridiculous.
Oh, I if you weren't wearing something today, you wouldn't be a real fan. So
No,
I'm,
absolutely not.
enjoy yourself. Welcome everybody. Thanks for coming in the middle of the day. We don't normally host events this early, but we have some very exciting opportunities unfolding with Option Fingerprints, and we wanted to bring them to you as quickly as possible. So I know this event was originally scheduled for last week. Thank you for giving us some extra time. One of the extra stocks that Andrew was vetting for Option Fingerprints is actually going to become one of the ones that we'll show you here today. So we used those extra few days to uncover another opportunity. So we'll walk you through that. But first, before Mark takes off, Mark, I'll include you in a fun part here. So
Okay.
for people who registered for this event, you guys know this if you're here, or if this is your first event, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We are going to deliver some real value to you here today. So get excited. A lot of times when we do signups for an event like this, we create a private room where we host that event. So a lot of you right now are seeing this in the private room. And I did a raffle a couple days ago. And if you just answered 3 simple questions in this room, they were, what's your name? What's a stock you own? And then what's the explanation for why you own that stock? And a bunch of you did this. And all of the names that sent a response got put into a raffle for a free subscription to what we're going to actually cover today. And I do have the winner of that raffle. So I'm going to announce it now. I don't know if this person is in the room, but we will call you and reach out to you if you're not. So the winner is Wolfgang, and I'm going to attempt to say his last name. I think it's Seidlich, but Wolfgang S. Congratulations. You're the winner. Thank you for participating. And we'll do more giveaways and things like this. But Wolfgang, if you're here, congratulations. You're actually going to get everything that we're going to talk about today. And I'm very excited.
Would you say that that we orchestrated Wolfgang winning, or this was completely random?
Wolfgang sounds like he would be a great hockey player or hockey.
Oh, that'd be
goalie.
another one. Yeah.
It's such a good name.
Wolfgang got a goal here.
100%. So Wolfgang, I checked. You only have a couple subscriptions, but really exciting. I can't wait to show you guys what we're going to walk through today. We'll give it just maybe 2 or 3 more minutes. I know we're in the private room and stuff, so we had to wait for people to get over here. So I just want to give us a little extra time to get started. One of the things that we're going to be talking about today is the power of institutional money. And we're going to define what that means. So when we talk about institutions, who are we actually referring to? One of the institutions that we trade and that you trade, Mark, is big money flow. So you basically look at where hedge funds, pension funds, even big like private equity funds, where they are investing their money, and you follow that to trade. Now,
Yes.
what we're doing today is a little different than that, but it's the same idea. It's based off following the big money. And just, can you explain to some people here who may be not a 20 plus year trading veteran why we would want to follow people like that? Why is that something we would want to do anyway as a trader?
Right. Well, options are now a much bigger marketplace than the stock market itself. When institutions want to move in and out of, let's say, 20, 30, 50 million shares of a specific entity, they're actually using options more to express that opinion of bullishness or bearishness. Bullishness meaning we think the stock's going up, bearishness meaning we think the stock's going down. They're actually using options to express that opinion now more often than owning the stock. It offers institutions more flexibility, more security. They can leverage themselves by using options because the options cost so much less than using the stock itself. And these traders have hundreds of people working for them. I've got a very good friend working at a extremely large hedge fund. And before they produce an idea that produces a option trade of 20, 30, 40,000 contracts, they've had 10 to 30 staffers parse through the numbers and figure out what they want to buy, when they want to buy it, and where they want to buy it. So when you see a large block order, the amount of research and market intelligence that went into that trade is something that I don't have time or the resources to do. But why do I need to take that time and resources when this large hedge fund that had 20 people looking at this trade decided this was their route?
Right. We basically piggyback off of the intelligence they've already put together to find the best time and the best price and whatever to purchase a stock. And as long as we can see that, we basically get all of the advantages with none of the cost.
Correct.
If that is something that you are doing right now, put a yes in the chat. If that's something you've never heard of and you've never done before in your trading, put a no. We're going to be covering this today. So if you aren't doing this, you are in a great place to learn how to do it. When several different trading pros come in and they say, hey guys, this is what I'm doing with my own real money, it's a good chance for your ears to perk up and pay attention. No one's going to know better where the opportunities are to make money in the market than someone who's been doing it for decades. So thank you, Mark, for warming things up. I'm going to get us going, and then we'll bring Andrew on in just a few minutes. Go Bears. I'll talk to you later
Have
today.
a good afternoon, everybody.
All right. I'm going to share my screen in just a second with you guys. Now, if you're just joining, my name is Hannah Selner. I'm the Director of Product Development here at Option Pit. I requested that role when I joined Option Pit 2 years ago because it is important to me to guarantee the quality of our products and the strategies that we bring to you, which is part of what we're going to show you here today. So, Justin, if you can pop up my screen, I'm going to start with this disclaimer. If you're new, say hello in the chat. We're friendly people here. I see a lot of friendly faces in the chat, but I also love to meet new people and say hello to you and welcome you. Option Pit is a special place, and I'm excited to show you that here today. So please don't be shy. We always start events with this disclaimer. This basically covers your bases. Anything that you see us cover today is our opinions. Our traders take these actions. If you decide to do anything based off of the information we show you here today, we're all adults. That's your decision. Now, today, we are here to talk about the perfect 4-filter formula. You guys know how I love my alliteration. That engineers 100% win rate. Andrew has 7 option fingerprint stocks that are about to hit their max growth phase. I'm using some terms here I'm going to define. This strategy has officially qualified for CRT approval, which if you're an Option Pit regular, you know what that means. If you're not, I'll explain it in just a second. This whole story started about a year ago. So today marks the 1-year anniversary of Andrew's casual mention of the only strategy I'll trade when I retire. He actually said that. And he called it option fingerprints. Now, when he brought this up, he was very nonchalant about it, which is normal for a pro trader. And it's part of the reason why my role exists. Because when Andrew was being nonchalant, this was me. Excuse me? And then after that, this was me. Because I could tell with the excitement Andrew was talking about this opportunity that this was something I should have known about and we should have brought to our audience. And then, finally forgiveness, because it's important. And that is me hugging Andrew there. We ended up taking this idea that Andrew just casually mentioned at a meeting and turning it into a strategy that we delivered to you guys in like under a week. So my role at Option Pit as the Director of Product Development is I work with the traders to build strategies that fit certain criteria. And we call that criteria for short CRT, which means a strategy is consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. If a strategy doesn't fit all three of these things, we may still bring it to you like we did with option fingerprints a year ago, but we told you guys that it was not CRT approved. So every strategy that we launch as a subscription, like something you can join for a year, 2 years, 3 years, has been CRT approved. So what we're going to show you today is what we have put together over the last year. So we launched this, we started trading it, we did some back testing. We're going to actually show you guys a sneak peek into what we do to get something CRT approved. There's a process there. We're going to show you that. So a year ago, Andrew's this casual comment turned into several limited edition strategies. We called them Flash 10 and Flash 5. Some of you here probably traded those or were members of these. If you are, give us a shout out in the chat. Flash 10 and Flash 5 focused on that story that Andrew told me a year ago. And when he was telling me that story, he said things, like, I can't believe some of these stocks are priced this way. Or I think this stock has 5x upside. And I told him a year ago that this wasn't going to pass CRT because it wasn't proven. We hadn't tested it. And we were upfront about that a year ago, but it's a year later now. And Andrew has a new batch of stocks. We have a track record. We've seen the ability to make money with this consistently. I see some of you talking about it in the chat. We've done our CRT due diligence, and we're right on the beginning of a brand new opportunity, which is the most important phase, being first. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. So today we're focusing on an obvious sector. Mark gave us a nice warm up talking about this Make America Healthy Again movement. And no matter your political affiliation, I think everyone can get on board with America isn't the healthiest and we should be healthier. And this movement is causing certain stocks to line up for a push higher. And we see that in our option fingerprints. So a year ago, when we first launched this, it hadn't passed CRT. We had no proof. There was no official system. We were honestly mostly going off of Andrew's feelings. And we told you guys that. We were upfront about it. And the best part is the strategy still worked. I'm going to show you the proof in 2 stocks right now. So if you're new to Option Pit, we take proof and putting our money where our mouth is, like talking the talk and walking the walk. We take that seriously. So I'm going to show you some actual proof from the last year. Do any of you know, this is a question, there's a chat over here, use it. Do any of you know what the fastest growing stock in the last year in the S&P 500 was? The fastest growing stock. So I'm not talking the one that is the most value. I'm not talking about NVIDIA or something. I'm talking about the one that grew the fastest. Does anyone know what that is? The fastest growing stock. Take some guesses. I see ASTS, PLTR, RKLB. The stock, and one of you did actually already guess this, was Robinhood. Robinhood has grown massively in the last year. And the reason why I'm showing you this stock is because option fingerprints and the strategy that Andrew's going to show you here today and the one he used last year actually told us to buy Robinhood on October 4th, 2024, when it was at $22.25. Today, Robinhood is trading at almost $150. It's up 425% since Andrew's option fingerprint alert. And by the way, this was just the stock. The option trade that Andrew made ended up going from around $2 to $45. Is that always going to happen? No. But is a move like that and that potential something that demands your attention? Yes. Let's look at another one, MP Materials. This came across Andrew's desk on September 27th, 2024. The option fingerprint said to buy MP. It was trading around $18 at the time. Today, it's around $91. It's up 404% since Andrew's alert. I'm going to show you the full track record of all of these stocks in just a second, but I want to take 1 minute and talk to you about something important. So whether you're sitting at home, on your phone, in your car, make sure you're listening, make sure the volume is up. This is important. There's a great saying that I love, and it says you can be smart, you can be lucky, or you can be first. And if you can, you should be first. When you're buying stocks and when you're looking to grow long-term wealth, this is the only thing that matters: timing. What we're going to show you today with option fingerprints, we're not looking for classic growth stocks. Let me explain what I mean by that. It took 9 years for Apple to go from 20 to 200. That's not what I'm trying to do. That's not what we're looking to generate. I don't want to have to sit and wait and sit and wait. American Express, it took 56 years to go from 4 to 292. That's a really long time. That's not what we're trying to wait for. 17 years, Coke from 3 to 70. You can do this. You can do this if you have a lot of time. But the problem for a lot of people is it's just too slow. So our goal here is to find stocks right at the beginning of their most explosive move. And we call that a stock's max growth phase. I'm going to use that phrase a lot today because when we use option fingerprints, that's the moment we're looking for, is that max growth phase. So can you buy and hold stocks for 20, 30, 40 years? Yeah, you probably have some that you do own. But are they going to give you the most bang for your buck? No. Our goal with this strategy is to find max growth phases that can happen in 12 months, 18 months, maybe 2 years. So we're taking that long timeline, making it a lot shorter. Because option fingerprints can pinpoint when a stock is about to hit that max growth phase. And that's what we want to be first to. So I know my slides are lagging a little bit. I think I fixed it. Are you guys tracking with me okay? Are the slides moving as I'm talking? Sometimes there's this weird setting on my computer and things look a little slow. But I think we're back on track now. Just give me a yes in the chat if you're tracking with me. Slides are moving okay? All right. Let's talk about what you get today. So we're going to cover the best way to anticipate next year's best stocks today, just like Andrew did with Robinhood and MP are just a few examples. We'll cover why MAHA kind of started this. That was the reason why we started looking at these option fingerprints. We're going to show you how over the last year, we spent time perfecting the 4 filters that go into option fingerprints. I'll walk you through why this has full CRT approval. And then we're going to show you a preview, the actual option fingerprints of 5 out of the 7 stocks that Andrew is hunting next. And by hunting next, I mean he's going to be putting on these trades in the next week. We have 1 free giveaway for you as attendees. So if you're watching this as a replay, we're going to black this out. Sorry, you got to be here for the live thing. So we have 1 free stock giveaway for those of you that are here. I want to gossip a little bit about Andrew before he gets here. So let me tell you some things about Andrew. If you know Andrew, give me a yes in the chat. If you don't know Andrew, say no. Andrew traded his first option back in 1989. He has been trading options for over 35 years. 16 of those were professionally. Then he quit, said he wanted more time to himself. He wanted to train people to actually use real people like you and me to use some of the strategies that he built and that he knew from trading on the floor. When Andrew was on the floor, he built what I call a hardcore trading curriculum. And companies would hire Andrew to train their traders before they reach the floor. So he's been trading traders for 35 years, 15 years, training people just like you and me who maybe have limited to no options or stock experience. He's also been using the strategy that you're going to see today for over a decade with his own real money. So even though we only brought this strategy out publicly last year because I stumbled on it in a conversation with Andrew, this has existed for a decade. So if you're wondering, is this going to expire? Will this work in 2 years? Will this work in 3 years? Andrew's been trading it for 10 years so far. So, Andrew, please come and join me. I hope I did you justice with this introduction.
You did. You did.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How are things in Maine?
It's getting colder, and I still have a fox to kill. But other than that,
Andrew has taken on. He's a bit of a homesteader out in Maine, and he just built a chicken coop. And there's been a bunch of stories about what's going on with the chickens and whatnot.
Marauders.
But Andrew, is there anything that I missed or that you would add, like, to your pro trading experience? Because it's important for the audience that they understand, like, you're not just some guy who's trying to sell them something. Like, you have professional trading experience that you're bringing to the table with this strategy.
I got to not read the chat because sometimes it can be way too funny.
Sure.
I traded 10 million option contracts, ran post on the SIBO PCX. I'm now just trading from home. Been here with Mark for 15 years, teaching retail traders at Option Pit. And, that's it. I like to trade options. I don't like to leave my house, and I need to kill that fox. So this is a strategy where I noticed just by kind of random, but we'll get to that in a minute. But just sort of how a lot of good trading just comes about by you look at the screens all day and
paying attention over long periods of time.
Yes,
which you as a pro trader have had the ability to do. So more than most anyone else who's just getting into trading, you're going to recognize patterns and see opportunity. So one thing that I think might seem confusing to some people is, what is this relationship between Make America Healthy Again and option fingerprints? So can we start there? Can you explain to me, like, what Make America Healthy Again has to do with this?
Right. So the thing, one thing is, part of the Flash series so far has been secular trends. And last year, when Trump looked like he was going to get elected, we rode the bit because I thought it would be good for Bitcoin. So we did Bitcoin adjacent stocks. We got onto AI.
Okay.
And so, like, it's secular trends are important, but the second part with MAHA was at the beginning when RFK Jr. was, nominated. Like, whole sectors tanked. Like a lot of healthcare stocks tanked. Drug stocks, big food companies tanked. So the opportunity there is,
it sort of set the stage for the opportunity.
Correct.
I mean, we're gonna show a couple examples of some stocks that experienced.
So that was the whole
correction.
idea of MAHA. This is a big secular change.
Right.
And generally, the big secular changes when you're trading, especially a 1 to 2 year time frame like that, that's where the opportunity is, when things start to go the other way.
Right. So let's go back. Let's rewind even further and kind of get to the origin story of where this came from. So can you set the stage going all the way back to 1991 and tell us kind of where this came from?
Yeah. So the idea is, all right, I have to go back. So before MAHA Stocks, it's 1991. I'm much younger. Much younger, handsome. I had long hair, maybe wearing a tank top every now and then, whatever. And exchanges like the CBOE, PCOS, the big exchanges at the time, only listed options 9 months out. So back then there was 4 terms only. The near next, mid, and far term. I still remember near, next, mid, and far. But institutions.
So if I wanted to buy an option that was further out than 9 months, like, you had to request it, right? Like you
had to request it from a bank. Like you had to go to JP Morgan, you had to go to Goldman. It's the exchange wouldn't just list it, okay? Because the system wasn't ready. You actually had to go over the counter to trade them, and options traded over the counter for decades before they ever got listed.
Okay.
So if you're an institution, you requested that option because you, right, you wanted to trade options like an investment. Like that's what institutions do. Um, and the reason why is they got a lot of money and they can hold them for a fraction of the cost of buying the stock. So just remember, $100 controls 100 shares. Like $100, a $1 contract can control 100 shares of stock. And that gets them in for a fraction of the price. So what happened was the SIBO, generally the SIBO usually leads with this stuff. They listed what they called LEAPS, long-term equity anticipation securities, if you're an option geek, okay? And this is how most trading vehicles start. If you didn't know this, the institution goes to the exchange and requests them. The exchanges have marketing people in New York, all over the place, to field these questions and requests.
Oh, interesting. They're like the trendsetter. So the
Exactly. So they're out there listening, at these events, like the SIBO Risk Management Conference, stuff like that. They want to hear what people want, like the VIX. That's how we have the VIX. In the old days, we just quoted volatility in the SPX. And then the VIX came out to actually, so everybody could set their sheets. Institutions could basically, they know what volatility is.
Right.
So now the thing is, you're going to ask, why do I look at them? Why would you look at like a 1, 2, 3 year contract? Well, think of it this way. You want to go where the money's going. And if the money is buying 1, 2, 3 year contracts, right? Because that's what institutions, remember, they're the requesters of this. They're the ones that want to just buy and forget.
Sure.
Because they got the dough. I want to see what they're buying. So I'm going to look where they're doing. Okay. I want to see what the institutions are doing.
Right.
So if 90% of LEAP order flow is institutional trading, that's where I want to focus when they're starting to get in. So it's like the next thing is think about how a stock goes up. Okay. You need institutions with big dough to take stocks up. How does a stock go from 10 to 20 to 50 to $100 over a 2, 3, 4 year period? It's all of a sudden institutions get interesting. BlackRock's like, okay, I need to add some of this, right?
Okay.
They're running $1 trillion. Like if they start adding it, it's going to go up, right?
Right.
So that's why I'm interested. And really the big difference between, and I've been teaching retail for, 15 years now. And I'm just a retail trader now myself. Like I'm at home, I'm, buying and selling options. But the difference between a pro trader and retail is just attention span. Like I've been looking at screens for 35. This is all I'm doing. It's a full life. I'm looking at options go up and down.
Right.
But retail traders are looking at other stuff. They have jobs, family. They can't spend all time to notice trends. So once they get in the room and they start noticing things, they pick it up pretty fast. But I've just, you trade 15 million option contracts.
Right.
Like you start to notice things. And an option pit, right? That's the reason I believe we have such a loyal students at Option Pit is everybody at Option Pit was a floor trader at one point. Except for Frank, but he's just our guy that has really good ideas. And then I do the option trading part. So the thing is, by being a student at Option Pit, you don't have to spend the time recognizing patterns if you don't want to. We can teach you those things. So I've been doing this for 35 years, which is hard for me to believe. But this specific strategy is the one I've tracked and traded for about 10 years. Because what I noticed is I would sell options, when I was younger that were $10 out of the money. And then I would look a year or two later and they're $50 in the money. And I'm like, that was so much easier.
Yeah.
If I would have just, So And again, and that's what leads us to option fingerprints in the first place. So this is kind of the origin story.
Right. So quickly, for those of you that are here that maybe don't do this, or this is the first you're hearing of leaps, or you don't have hours a day to dedicate to watching the market and trying to recognize trends the way Andrew has, this is like your permission slip to not worry about having to do that, because Andrew has already done that. And we're going to show you some results today to sort of prove how this strategy works and walk you through that process. But that's not something that we're going to ask you to do. That's not something that you need to do to be successful. So I just want to reassure you, if that's not you and you're busy and you can't be at your computer, it doesn't mean that this isn't something that you can do. So leaps are our origin, and that brings us to an option fingerprint. So I love this term, option fingerprints. What does this actually mean?
Right. So this is, institutions leaving their fingerprints all over everything.
Sure.
So it's long-term open interest in a stock and leaps. And generally options bought 1 year or more, so 1, 2, 3 years out, are the things that get my attention. The reason why fingerprints are interesting, because it's a permanent record. They hold open interest for 1 to 2 years, right? It's not short-term option trading. So the thing you see is, as institutions acquire, the open interest long-term gets bigger. Real simple. It just bigger and bigger and bigger. So you want to see accumulation over time, right? Because if they're holding and not selling, that's literally the definition of holding and not selling. And that's when you think about what becomes widely held, right? Institutions pile in, where a lot of larger money firms own something, and that's when it becomes less widely held when they get out.
What's an example of a stock right now that you would say qualifies as widely held?
Oh, like Nvidia, you can't, or Apple, you can't have. Every big long-term portfolio has to see though, has to have those names at this point if you're going to even hope to keep up with the S&P 500, up to this point. So, and they do this in basically what we call in the old days large size. They
sure. Okay, but so for you guys that are here today, we're not looking, and I went over this earlier, we're not looking to buy the widely held stocks.
Correct.
We're not looking to buy cheap stocks that we hope become a widely held stock in 40 years. We are looking to find stocks right before they become widely held, so that we kind of catch this max growth phase that we're talking about. So we're shooting for 1 to 2 year holds and looking for the same big time double or triple digit return on the actual stock. So just to clarify that difference. And the reason why this happens, and this is a great example that we have here on the slide, is like retail buyers, they can only move stocks in the short term. So if you think about things like GameStop, or, these Reddit phases where a bunch of people pile in and go actually buy a stock. Yeah, they move that stock a bunch, but only for a few days. They don't have the capital and the ability to wait and the ability to sit like institutional buyers. So institutional buyers are the only people that can actually move these stocks long term, because they buy and hold those huge quantities. I do want to take just a second, Andrew, and clarify what institutions are, because we throw that term around a lot. So here's a list of kind of some things that would qualify as an institution: mutual funds, hedge funds, family office. There are occasionally individuals that can act like an institution. So think about Warren Buffett, Larry Ellison, basically people that really have a lot of capital at their disposal, and they can throw around their weight on stocks and options pretty easily.
I would agree with all that. That sounds really good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone tracking with me in the room, if you have a question, please post it. I keep an eye on the chat as we go through this, so don't be shy. So far, we've set the table for why option fingerprints are important. We want to follow what institutions are doing. We do that by looking at the leaps. And those leaps build for us an option fingerprint that tells us when a stock is going to go up. Andrew said this earlier, but I want to reiterate this point one more time. Stocks do not go up without an increasing option fingerprint. And we'll talk about how much that option fingerprint has to increase and how we see it in some of those details. So let's get back to my original question. What the heck does MAHA have to do with option fingerprints? And you talked about these kind of trends that we've traded in the last couple of years and what can happen here. So Andrew, you talked about this first, like the companies that kind of got crushed by MAHA becoming a movement. So here's some examples on the screen here.
Okay. So are we on the stock charts now?
Yeah, sorry, these things aren't for some reason the slides aren't moving. Let me show you this. So I asked, what does MAHA have to do with option fingerprints? And then here, yeah, I'm looking at these examples right here.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing.
No, you're doing the right thing. Sometimes when I change it, it doesn't change it on.
It's being a little stubborn.
I'll keep.
So yeah, so the MAHA movement basically, like I'm kind of RFK Jr. comes in. He's like, I'm going after you dudes. I'm going after the drug stocks. I'm going after the unhealthy food. And on a secondary note, I think people are going to start exercising again. Okay. So, but here you notice what happened. Once the guy got here, all these, like, Lululemon, I think, tanked on the tariff issue, which is slightly separate from the MAHA issue. But of course, you need clothes once you look good. But all the other stocks just gotten, smoked.
Right.
Tyson, Kraft Heinz, ConAgra Brands, all the big food starts getting smoked. However, because America is America and stocks go up, what did these big companies do?
They decided to adapt.
They decided to change. They decided, okay, now it's time. Maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. We have to do something and get on the Make America Healthy Again train.
Right.
So what they did is like, okay, we're going to start getting rid of dyes. Walmart announced that they're getting rid of dyes. Tyson announced they're getting rid of high fructose corn syrup additives in their, in their frozen foods and their products. Right. So all of a sudden, all these companies, and it's going to take a little bit for them to retool this, but companies generally can move pretty fast, right? Once they decide what to do. But from an opportunity point of view, and again, secular opportunity is what we're looking for, secular trends. It literally just kind of fell. This is why we're having this today, and why Hannah we wanted to have it last week, but we had too many things going on. But like this trend, like the trend is now. The reversal is now. If it's not tomorrow, the next day. So the idea is, because these companies have to get on this Make America Healthy train, because RFK Jr. is like gaining in popularity. I mean, he is, like, you could be off one, but he's trying to do all these things.
Right. So a lot of these stocks were sort of temporarily depressed because of the threat of, being regulated and what that was going to do to their business and their margins and blah, 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 blah. And they've sort of responded by saying, okay, we're going to make some changes.
And I think the back office, when Trump did Trump RX, and started to, like, all of a sudden you could tell people are back channeling to try to get, to find other ways to go around this.
Sure. Like they're doing what they can to survive here. Because I mean, they're looking at P&Ls on their companies that look really bad. So they are at the beginning of this sort of turnaround story, which is what you look for with option fingerprints. So these stocks have dropped because the institutions got out, because it was a bad opportunity or it was a losing opportunity. And now we want to be able to track when the institutions are getting back into these stocks. And that's what we do with option fingerprints. So I do want to review, we talked about track record, showing you guys a track record. I want to show you over the last year, some of the stocks that we have found using option fingerprints and their performance. These are closed stock positions from trading option fingerprints. Now, both of these, the block of yellow and the block of purple, they had waves of their own. Exactly like Andrew is describing this Make America Healthy Again movement. These had the same moves. But you can see here kind of what we're shooting for percentage on these trades. And Andrew closed several of these positions for wins, earlier on to take his profits and move it into the next thing. But you can see here what the max gains with each of these stocks from the day that Option Fingerprints told us to purchase them to where we are today. And at the bottom there is Robinhood. So is every stock going to do this? No. Are you always going to hold stocks to the perfect max potential gain moment? No. But I want to show you guys the potential of these plays so that you understand, even a year ago when we were trading this and didn't have the 4 filter system we're going to show you today, the potential is absolutely 100% there. Not only that, but there were a lot of people who traded these programs and loved it. Longer term gains, upside, like lower maintenance, hands off. Like I get into a trade and I can let it sit there. I don't have to babysit it. New old guy probably said it best. Flash 10 has been really nice, relaxed, and profitable. That's the goal here. We want to be able to take some of the money that you make in other more active trading strategies or just even your own salary and take that money and put it somewhere to actually grow wealth on an expedited timeline, not 40 years, not 30 years, but in the next year or two. So I'm going to pause for a sip of coffee. We said that we would give you guys something free for coming today. So Andrew has a stock that he picked out. Andrew, you want to spend 2 minutes kind of walking through this pick? It does tie in a little bit to what we're talking about today. But this is something 100% free that we're giving to you guys. If you're watching the replay, you won't be able to see this because we're going to black it out, but go ahead, Andrew.
This is what I'm going to call Trump adjacent. So this is International Tower Hill Mines. I own a fair amount of this stock. I was picking it up in like the $150 range. Of course, today it's up ridiculous. It's like when I do these things, like, can it not be up on the day that I'm recommending it so fast? It's a little annoying. Again, in the mining sector. This is a John Paulson owns a lot of this. Today it's up like it was 25 or 30%. It's ridiculous today. Because money is just jumping into mines like crazy now.
Right.
John Paulson was the first pick for Treasury of Secretary. He didn't take it because I guess he probably just likes being a hedge fund manager. I think it's a good opportunity. I still own the shares. My first target is $5 for them. That's where I have a GTC order sitting. So there it is. International Tower Hill Mines, just another mining account. And another mining stock that is what I would call a Trump adjacent trade. Not too far disconnected from what I've been doing with Frank over the last 6 to 8 months in capital gains. So
that's our thank you to you guys for being here today and using some of your, we know time is something that everyone just has a fixed amount of. So thank you for being here today, and you get to walk away with that free pick. Now,
plus the price is right. It's not
plus the price is right. Who doesn't want a $2.50 stock, 50-cent stock, even if it's up 25 cents today or 25% today? I kind of don't care. That's a great market.
A billionaire owns a bunch of it, so it does have that going for it.
Sure. So let's get into the meat here. When we look at option fingerprints, we use 4 filters, and 3 of these filters we cannot give you specifics on today because they're proprietary information. And we did a lot of testing to build these filters, but we can tell you what they do. So if we're looking for an option fingerprint and Andrew is trying to find one that's significant. So you take a stock and you look at the leaps, maybe 1 year out, 2 year out, 3 year out, whatever. When we do that, what are we looking for? How do we pick the stock we look at? We use these filters. So filter number 1 is we're looking for a certain stock move. Filter number 2 is we're looking for a certain stock rebound. Filter number 3 is we're looking at the earnings on that stock to try to gauge its momentum. And then filter 4 is when we look specifically at the option fingerprint. So there's 3 steps of vetting that happen before we even look at the option fingerprint. Now, what we're going to show you here This is an exclusive part of the CRT process. So we normally don't show people this. We just do this and then bring you the strategy. But today we wanted to show you this because we, over the last 6 months to a year, have spent dozens of hours and leveraged tens of thousands of dollars on a relationship that we have to get the data to run this back test.
Actually, I got to translate that. This is Hannah hounding me to make this something that she could talk about and do CRT. It's really what it was.
Well, right, because we want to bring, like, part of what's important to us here at OptionBit and what's really important to me is bringing you guys the proof. Like, I want you to feel when you see our strategies, like you believe them and you understand them and you see where it came from and you understand the edge in the market you're trying to take advantage of. Like, that's the whole point. I'm never going to buy something or join a strategy if I don't feel confident in those things. So CRT hopefully gives you that confidence to wholeheartedly actually use one of the strategies we show you. So when we did this back test, we basically took, these were our testing instructions. We took 5 years of options data on every stock in the S&P 500, which is a ton of data. Okay. And we took what we wanted to be our 4 filters. Because a year ago, Andrew was using these filters. He was doing it informally, but he was using these 4 filters. And we tried a bunch of different arrangements. So I know on the screen it says X, Y, Z, A. Those aren't actual criteria. We had to change these. So we'd say, okay, let's run the data with, I'm looking at a stock move of 10%. Go. How does it change our output? Okay, now let's do it with 12%. Go. How to change the output. And we tested and tested and tested and did this over and over and over and over again to get to an output where we looked at the results and Andrew literally said, I don't think I can do better than that, which is
I said we're done.
Which is what we're going to show you in just a minute. So the one piece of this that we will share, and we're going to show you some examples of this today, is the option fingerprint increase we're looking for. And that's 40%. We tried option fingerprint increases that were smaller. We tried ones that were bigger. This is the sweet spot to catch the max growth phase. So this was the most important thing we found. And we're actually going to show you what the option fingerprint increase looks like on the stocks that Andrew is looking at right now. So we'll show that to you in just a minute. But when we ran this information, okay, and we did this, the best result we got, you can't get a better result, was 100% win rate. And here's what this means. So when we ran this and we had those 4 criteria exactly how we wanted them, it generated 67 stocks that met that specific criteria in the last 5 years. What we did is we took all of those stocks and we froze them from the day that it said to buy stock or buy options. The day the option fingerprint said, okay, go. And we fast forward 180 days after that. All 67 stocks went up. Every single one. 100% of them. Now, let me show you a couple numbers on how much they went up, and then I'm going to show you the actual results. So,
which was a little nutty.
It was a little nutty.
I was a little surprised.
The average gain was 32%. So this is a stock. The average gain of all 67 stocks was 32%. The smallest was 1%, and the biggest was 191%. So these are not small stock moves. Some of these are larger stock moves. And I'm actually going to show you the real screen here, the real output. I'm going to tease this to you guys a little bit. You're going to see a bunch of numbers on this. Let me know you guys can see this okay.
I'll wait. I'll tell you when I see it up here. Hannah.
Okay, I just popped it up. Give it 1 minute to load in there. It's a ton of data. And this isn't going to really mean anything to you right now. But I just want to show you, I want you to look at this column right here, column AJ. And I'll even zoom in a little bit.
Okay, it's still, unless somebody else can see it, I can't yet, but.
Can you guys see this? I see it in the room right now.
Just popped in.
AJ. Okay, great. So this column right here is showing you the percentage of those 67 stocks after 180 days. So if I bought this one, ABNB, when option fingerprints said to, and I waited 180 days, how much would that stock price have changed? It would have gone up 53%. These are percentages. And as I'm going to slowly scroll down here, as you can see, 100% of these are positive.
Yeah, some of the gains are smaller, but overall,
Here's
it
our big one
produced
here.
great results.
Peloton was 191. So these, for those of you furiously screenshotting the stocks that are in here right now, this was a back test over the last 5 years. And we do this sometimes to confirm the way that we want our filters to work. So we'll say, let me take a huge chunk of data and make sure that the filters I set up are doing what I want them to do.
Right.
And you literally can't do better than 100%. So we just, these 4 filters are exactly what we want to use going forward. Any questions about the back test, what I just showed you? The duplicate tickers are in there just because it's multiple samples. Yeah. Different time frames.
Different time frames, like they hit the criteria several times.
Right. And I wish we could spend more time getting into all of the details on this and why it's so important and how it worked. Maybe we'll do a follow-up event and we can show you guys that a bit more in depth. We just can't spend all of our time today covering that. So, that's how it goes. So taking those filters, the 4 filters that we literally spent the last year putting together to make sure that this strategy is CRT approved, it's consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. We're going to take those 4 filters right now, and we're going to apply them to the MAHA stocks that Andrew is watching. So let's look. We're going to look at 5 stocks. We'll start with this one first. AG, you want to take us through this one?
See, which is our first one?
We are on stock 1.
Yep.
This
Okay.
stock right now is trading under $15.
Right, under $15, and I just wait for everybody's when it shows up. So the fingerprint on this is I add up the open interest. That is the far left column that you're going to say. And what we do is like check marks, right? Check. Okay, so it's made our first check. It's made our second check, and this is also a little hint about things to come in the future on this, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The third check is maybe, and then
it's pending, right? So I don't know if you have this in front of you, Andrew, so I'll just walk through this.
Yeah, it is. I'm good. That's the pending check there.
Okay.
And then the fourth is we're looking for confirmation on the 4th. And I believe in this example, we do. So this is one where we have most of the pieces, but not all the pieces. However,
let me just reiterate from the beginning because I don't want people to be confused.
Did I go too fast?
Yeah, but it's okay. We'll just back up for a second. So filter number 1, we're looking for a certain stock move. We got a check there. So this stock made the stock move we were looking for. Filter number 2 also gets a check because we looked for a rebound. It made the rebound. The reason why we're not giving you guys these exact numbers is because we literally spent a year figuring out what these exact numbers should be, and you have to join the strategy to get the exact numbers. So filter 3, we're looking for a certain earnings result. We haven't gotten that yet. And then filter 4 is when we actually look at the option fingerprint. So for this particular stock, let's look at the option fingerprint. So I'm going to show you a screenshot right now. And where you want to direct your attention is on the far left side. That's the open interest in the leaps. So that is our option fingerprint. That is an institution taking positions. And back on April 15th, our option fingerprint was 6,894. Now, Andrew and I just talked about when we look at filter number 4, we're looking for the option interest to increase 40% at least. So if I screenshot this from April 15th and I move forward to today, I'm looking for this to go up at least 40%. The option fingerprint today went up a lot more than that. It's 103,981. So this is not a 40% increase. It's like over 1,000% increase. But I want to direct you to one box. See that green box on your screen that has 36,709 inside of it? Andrew, you're going to be better at the fast math. Tell me how big of an order that is. Like, what are we actually looking at here? With
Exactly. So it's 36,000 contracts of out of the money premium. So 36,000 times 100 times a dollar. So it's 360,000, $3.6 million worth of calls. So that is not just, your average investor. Like, it's not a retail investor buying. That is like institutional money buying that. Now, instead of buying X number of shares, they now have, leverage on 3.6 million shares.
Well, right. And also that 3.6 million too. I mean, that's a $30. They're betting that the stock is going to go above $30. It's a huge bet. Right now, the stock is at $15.
Yep.
So they're saying that this needs to double
right
before this date. So that's not only a huge order, that's a fairly confident order to say that that's going to happen on this stock in a certain window.
Yes.
So that's just an example for you guys here on kind of how this fingerprint can add up over time. So this particular stock number 1, gets a check mark on number 4 because we got at least our 40%. Now, I know someone's going to ask this question, so I'm going to jump in front of it. Andrew, why would we be bringing someone these examples, showing them, talking about the trades, if we don't have 4 green check marks right here? Like, if this isn't ready, why are we talking about it?
Again, the idea in here is you want to be a little early. You want to be first. So we want to keep, right? We want to keep stocks that are close to us, essentially ready for this.
Right.
So that's like the whole idea is we want to be first.
Right. Let's look at stock number 2. We have filter 1 check, filter 2 check. This one, filter 3, is a check. Let's look at the option fingerprint. Back in June, let me see if this is lagging again. Here we go. Back in June, the option fingerprint was 3,043. Today, it's 3,574. So this is not all the way to our 40%. It's about 17%. So Andrew is still watching this option fingerprint and waiting for it to grow and accumulate.
Correct.
And Andrew, would you say that these can pick up pretty quick? Like, is this something that could hit 40% in the next week?
Next week or two. And generally, like, a stock starts starting to make a little run. And then like the buyers come in and start piling in. Once it usually needs a little momentum, gets things going.
Stock 3, check, check, check. Let's look at the option fingerprint. June 16th, it was 2,687. And today we're at 4,443, which means that our option fingerprint has gone up 65%. Now, Andrew, probably some people are wondering, like, Hannah, your first option fingerprint is on June 16th. Why that date? How did you find that? I'm assuming that's the date. Like, that's a date that our criteria that we're looking for, one of them must have been hit on that date, and that kind of starts our option fingerprint, right?
That is correct. It is one of the criteria has to hit, and then I want to start seeing some accumulation.
Right. So that's not like I'm not picking random dates out of a hat. There's a reason for that date. And for those of you who actually join this to get these opportunities and trade it with Andrew, you'll talk about why that date and why it's important.
Right. The stock has to do things for me to start counting, basically.
Right. And we actually, right now, I'm going to tease this a little early. Is there anyone in this room who's a member of Alpha AI? If you are, say yes in the chat. We launched an AI scanner a few months ago that automatically tracks some short squeeze opportunities. And we are building the ability to do that for option fingerprints also right now. So in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, we hope we're going to launch a scanner that will pair with this and take some of the filters that we're talking about and showing you and actually turn them into a tool that you can use that will update automatically. So we don't have that today. It's not something that you can get necessarily today, but we are in the process of building that to kind of take this process that's inside of Andrew's head and that we've tested over the last year and put it in a tool that's in your hands. So get excited. That's something that's coming with this. That's going to,
That's what I'm excited to have something do the work for me.
yeah, it's going to change the way that you can track and find these opportunities. You're not doing it manually. So
I don't have to do it manually anymore.
it's
It'll be
exciting.
nice.
It's exciting for you and it's exciting for us. And it should be exciting for you at home too. Even if you don't know how that works, take it from some of the people that are here today, building these scanners and this technology that takes what's inside of Mark's brain or Andrew's brain, these pro traders, and putting it in a tool that you can use you at home on your phone, on your computer. It's a game changer for trading. So stock 4, check, check, check. The option fingerprint back on April 15th was 14,543, a little bit bigger on this one. And again, we don't necessarily care if it's 2,000, 10,000, 20,000. We care that it grows. We care that it changes. So the option fingerprint today is 34,000. There's another huge order here, Andrew. Look at this one. 13,158. What's the math on how expensive that is there?
What's the option premium? Because I'm so blind I can't even see anymore.
Let's see. It looks here like 170.
Yeah, it's like, again, it's 1.7 million bucks. So I'm trying to get you the idea of like numbers and scale on some of these. Now, these are a good thing about these from retail point of view. Those are all affordable option prices,
right?
Which I like is the best part. So,
right,
that it won't take anything super killer for us to have great wins. When the option values start at relatively affordable prices, which it's a lot easier for a small option to grow into a big option when it starts at a not very big price, which is nice.
Stock number 4 is currently around $30. It's been as high as $65 in the last 4 years. So that's some context for this stock opportunity that Andrew's looking at. This option fingerprint has grown 139% from when we pinpointed it in April to today. So that's some huge growth. Andrew, I just want to reiterate, every stock we're looking at right now, all these examples, you actually plan to trade these, correct?
Correct. Yep. Relatively soon. There's a couple of mine I already own, but when I buy them for option fingerprints for Flash 7, I'll just be adding more shares at that time. But I mean, I've already started this process. Yes.
Stock 5, again, check, check, check. So most of the stocks we've looked at today are like 4 for 4 on the checks, meaning that these opportunities really are happening right now. So Andrew, you're scheduled to put on the first positions next Monday, so 6 days from today.
Correct.
So when we said these are coming, they really are happening right now. Stock number 5, the option fingerprint has increased a whopping 645%. This is a huge increase.
Right.
And we have all the other 3 filters have hit as well. So these are 5 examples. There are 7 stocks right now that are passing Andrew's 4 filter criteria that he plans to start putting on Monday. He might not do all 7 on Monday, but he's going to start adding these to a portfolio. Yep. So we've gone through a lot of stuff today. We talked about leaps, how they show us where institutions trade. It's the only place you can really see an unfiltered view of that. We talked about CRT approval and showed you the actual 4 filter process that we have used and refined, and the same process that generated 100% win rate on our backtest of over 5 years. We also showed you guys some real money results actually using this process to find option fingerprints and use them to buy stocks and options. Now, we went through 5 of the stocks out of the 7 that Andrew's going to trade starting next week. We gave you a stock that almost kind of fit this, but it's a free giveaway for you guys here today. So, Andrew, before we get into how people can join this, you have anything you want to reiterate to the group?
Yeah, I just want to say, just real quick, everybody that's trading, making money kind of falls into 2 buckets, right? And your goal should have both. The first is you're trading to generate income, which is great, right? Pay yourself a salary. And then the second is to generate real wealth, and wealth that makes you want to be financially free. So to hit the number that you have in your head, right? How do you do that? So I'll tell you, what I do, and that's, so you take the income from trading or the income from your salary, income forever, and then you have to go buy something and hold it. That's how I think everybody that's made a lot of money, as how they grow wealth. And then, right, once you've made some money, what you're buying, you're watching grow 6 months to a year, and looking at, hopefully it goes up, 3x. But basically, you're not doing anything once you make that sort of capital gain purchase. Now, I'm not saying you have to park some money for this in the same instrument for 5 or 10 or 30 years or anything like that. So the goal of option fingerprints is to find the most explosive move possible now that we can catch on the upside for the shortest amount of time at being an investor. So 6 to 12 months. And, in what better way to do that and letting your money work for you than are what we call a 4-filter process that has 100% back tested win rate at this point. So will it be 100% forever? I wish, but most likely not. But I do feel 100% more confident now and excited now that I have assembled a system around the idea. So absolutely. And it's not like we've done bad over the last year either.
That's true.
Just the feeling, it still worked out pretty good. I'm still holding Hood shares. I'm still holding several of the companies. So I'm not complaining about what's happened so far. But this is an opportunity with MAHA Stocks, opportunity with the fingerprints, and we now have our system in place. And I'm just really excited, and I want you to join me. So, and that's where we find ourselves at the beginning of Flash 7.
So this strategy is going to go by the name Flash 7. And I'll take you guys through right now what you're actually going to get if you join this service. And right at the beginning, I want to reiterate something. Oh, we missed my fireworks. Here we go. Go back. Perfect. Right at the beginning. I know. I love those. Right at the beginning, I want to reiterate something. So, Andrew, when you have these option fingerprint opportunities, this is not something that happens every week. Like, it's not like next week you're going to have a new theme and 7 new option fingerprint stocks. These are almost kind of quarterly opportunities. So over the last year, we've done, I think, 20 option fingerprints. Some of them are still open positions, and then we showed you the closed ones today. So like, this is not something that you can wait until next week to do. Like, it just will be gone. So as I go through this, pay attention to that. Like we said, being first is really important. And if you can't be first to this opportunity, it's kind of not worth it. Like, you want to be in this now before these max growth phases happen. So keep that in mind while I walk through this. When you join Flash 7, we're going to send you a full report, 7 stocks to buy now. Andrew's going to do a live trading session next Monday to activate the first position. So say out of the 7, there are 3 or 4 that he wants to actually buy right then and there. Go buy the stocks and maybe go buy the options. You'll do that together. He'll host a live session. You'll also get a live portfolio so you can track all these positions all the time. Now, this is not a strategy where you need to be live every single week. What you're going to do when you first set up these positions is you're going to set your targets. You're going to understand where you want to get in, where you want to get out. And then this is designed to be a hands-off strategy, not that you are babysitting it every single day. You can't grow wealth when you're babysitting positions, because you know what happens is the market does what it did on Friday. You get a big haircut, you're sweating looking at those positions, and you maybe sell some things that you should hold. So this is not something that you should be babysitting. That's the purpose. It's supposed to be a wealth generating strategy. You'll get a bunch of other things. We got a deep dive report on each option fingerprint on the stocks we buy. So we'll show you the option fingerprint, an explanation. Anytime Andrew adds a new stock to the portfolio, he's going to meet with you guys live.
Yep.
He'll give you buy and sell alerts on each position. When you first put on the stock trade, he's going to give you your sell target. So I know what I'm shooting for. I'm waiting. I know in the back of my head, okay, I'm waiting for Robinhood to go to 120 and I'm going to sell it. You'll know that from the beginning. We're putting together an Options 101 course. So if you're someone who has never traded an option before and you want to take the option for Flash 7 that has options too, because you can do that. And I'll show you that in a second. We have a course to get you up and running. We have that 24/7 members only chat room that you guys know and love. It's an amazing way to source new ideas. And then we're also going to give you monthly position write-ups on every stock in the portfolio. So if Andrew puts 4 stocks on Monday and waits for the rest, you'll get a write-up at each month that talks about those positions, updated targets, other things that may be affecting them. Now, there's 2 bonuses that everyone who joins today is going to get. The first one is really cool and kind of matches what we were talking about earlier today, what we gave away as a free bonus. And that's the speculative government takeover plays. So the government is partnering with small cap companies. And if you know what those small cap companies are and to own them ahead of time, it's incredible the moves that some of these have made. I called out a couple here. Lithium Americas went from $3 to $9 on a government partnership. USAR has gone from 8 to 28, I think even just on a rumor of one. So there's one specific stock, and Andrew, you can speak to this a little bit, that you're really excited about. It's another exploratory mining. Trump supporter just took a big stake in this. It isn't the one we gave you earlier. There's another one. And you're going to get this right when you join Flash 7.
Right. Do you want me to talk about this stock now, or I'm not supposed to say the name right now, right?
I'm going to have, definitely don't say the name. I'm going to have you talk about it a little bit later.
It's another one with a rare earth component. And again, owned a big stake in it, owned by a big Trump supporter. And one thing we have noticed, these stocks have tended to do very well. So it looks like Trump's still here and the supporter's still here. So, and
Bonus
the demand
2,
is still here.
Bonus 2, we're going to give you guys an option fingerprint live masterclass. This is 90 minutes with Andrew. We'll make the replay available. You can go back and revisit it, any questions you have. And in this class, we're actually going to teach you some of the pieces of what's inside filter 1, filter 2, and filter 3. The 3 things that we didn't get into in more depth today, you guys will actually do that in the live masterclass. The goal for that class is for you to take what you learn and you can apply this workflow for looking at option fingerprints to any other stock that you trade. Or say your financial advisor is like, oh, I want to pick up these couple stocks. You can go check that out yourself. Heck, you can just go trade it yourself if you want to, because you'll have the tools and the understanding to see if the option fingerprint is present and actually check it. So today, you guys have 2 options, 2 main options. One is going to be Flash 7, and the other is called Flash 7 Plus. So, Andrew, stop me if I'm not making sense as I go through this, but I want to make sure everyone sees this, and then we're going to post the order form for you guys. So, okay. Flash 7, just plain Flash 7 on the left, the white one. This is Flash 7 stock. So, what this means is you'll get the 7 stocks to buy now. You'll get the name of the stock, you'll get the target for the stock, and everything else listed here you will get as a Flash 7 member. The 2 bonuses I just showed you included. Now, for Flash 7 Plus, you get all the same things. And then you also get the corresponding option chains that you can pair with every stock play. So on the stock plays, Andrew's shooting for 100% gain. And on the option play, it's going to be 3 to 5 times that. Right. The option, you're really looking to move. So if you want to turbocharge these trades the same way that Andrew does in his own trading, because he buys the stock and he also buys the option, you want to go Flash 7 Plus. That's where you get the option positions. And we'll also have a live bonus class putting those trades on. So normally these are the retail prices. These don't apply to you here today. You don't have to pay those. We're doing 50% off on both of these. So Flash 7 is a $2.95 quarterly subscription. And Flash 7 Plus, where you get those option trades, is going to be a $5.95 quarterly subscription. So in the chat, let's make sure this gets posted. We'll post it above our heads. Click on that button, you guys, and you can revisit everything that you get as a Flash 7 member. Remember, this is an ongoing subscription. So yes, you're going to get these first 7 Make America Healthy Again stocks. This is your first group. But the goal over the next year is that you should get 15 to 30 new positions. So it's not just these 7 opportunities and we're done. You're going to have new additions as Andrew develops his option fingerprint tool even further. So understand that. And you're not just getting these first 7. You're getting other things that are coming too. Now, there is one other option on the order form that you're going to see. And I just want to cover this really quick. I know there are people that love option fingerprints, that love trading these. So we have for the first time the option for a Flash 7 lifetime. You won't have to pay for another Flash stock for life. Like, this is all option fingerprints as long as this service runs sent to you. You get both the stocks and the options. There's no renewal on this, and there's no maintenance fee. And the best part about this lifetime that I'm so excited about, Andrew, is that if you take this lifetime offer today, and it has an expensive price tag, it's $39.95. But for those of you that love these, when you take this offer today, you will get first access to the brand new custom scanner we are developing to track option fingerprints. That tool that we're building, that we're going to put in your hands to use. This is the only way you can get this tool right now. The only way you can get it early is to join this lifetime subscription. So I wanted to put that on here. For those of you who love this, you can get that early and you will not have any renewals or maintenance fee or anything. So Flash 7 Lifetime is a great option for those of you who love trading option fingerprints and maybe are a little closer to, Andrew, you said earlier, when you retire, this is how you want to trade. So if you're getting to that point and you really you don't want to be at your computer, you want lower maintenance positions, this is probably a good option for you because you could just do this.
There are selfish reasons that I wanted to develop this thing. So the idea is to save myself a ton of work. So
right.
It should, I'm glad everybody's getting it. I'm glad everybody has the opportunity, but the idea too, it's kind of like Mark Scanner, it saves a lot of time because all the opportunities get pointed to you. You don't have to go look for them anymore.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
More fox shooting time, says Scavenger. I love it. As you guys have questions, pop them in the chat. I'll answer some of them. I see Gabe O asked, what if I want it for a full year? Give us a call, Gabe. We're great about working out subscriptions. If you want a deal to get it for a year, give us a phone call. There's a number on your screen right now. It's 888-872-3301. So you can give us a phone call there. Again, 3 options. You got the Flash 7, which is just the stocks. That's $2.95 a quarter. Flash 7 Plus, which is going to include those options. That's going to be $5.95. And then we have that Flash lifetime offer for you as well. For those of you die hard option fingerprint traders. Rick, is the scanner free with the lifetime? Yes, sir, Rick. If you take that lifetime option, it is included. So you will get that there yourself. All right, I have some questions.
Okay.
I'm going to direct these to you, Andrew.
Okay.
While I'm talking, you guys just click on that form. You can read that. It'll open in a new tab so you can still hear me. So have a look at that while I talk. The first question here is from Gregory. And he says, leaps can be expensive. How much for a typical contract? So what do these normally run you, Andrew, each trade?
What's our average been? Probably $3.50, I think. I'd have to go through it, but I try to find them that aren't out of hand expensive. One good thing about a lot of these turnaround stocks is the prices of the stocks are lower before they go flying up again. So I think our average cost has been like $3.50, $4, I believe. It can't be very far off from that. So, you're not buying the in the money leap. We're buying that or some 10 to 15, 20% out of the money. So just remember, you're looking 6 months a year. You're not we don't need to buy the in the money option. We're expecting some lift.
Right. If you guys are giving us a call, sometimes it'll go to voicemail if the line's really busy. So just leave us a voicemail, or you can call us back. They're great about getting back to people. So I would stay put there and keep trying to get through on the phones. So yeah, it's affordable. I would say that also, you kind of you tend to put these on in waves. So it's not like one day I have to have $15,000 or whatever to set up everything at once. You're kind of doing it in a couple waves normally.
A lot of things, right? It's timing. It's always okay. Earnings are coming out. Stocks make their move. When when is everything aligning? So once kind of all the ducks get knocked in a row, of course, the application will take care of that, because we will actually see how all the ducks line in a row, which will be a lot nicer. But for now, that's why everything kind of comes in waves. Also, other ideas, things that start to pop up and percolate. The 7 stocks aren't the only stocks that are on the list. They're just the ones that look the most interesting, as of the last week when we got this rolling.
Sure. So you're saying you could have 10 maybe of these health stocks that might come to fruition here.
Yeah, the Donald RX thing helped out a lot, because it started to move the needle too in there. So
we did get a question about that. Someone was asking, like, are all option fingerprint stocks that you trade these health stocks? And the answer long term is no. Andrew's looking for any opportunity that institutions are moving into. And right now, that opportunity just happens to be these Make America Healthy Again stocks. So that's the trend for right now. In 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months, that flow could definitely shift, and that would be the next opportunity.
Right? There's 4 parts that Hannah was checking off. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
So if the stock's already gone up like 300%, it's not going to be on our list, because it really doesn't. It's not momentum up. We're looking for the move the other way.
For those of you who have owned option fingerprints in the past, or who have been members of Flash 10 or Flash 5, this is your chance to secure a subscription that will be ongoing. So you don't have to join for every single group of Flash whatever. Right. If you join this, you're going to get all the upcoming Flash opportunities. So this is a great chance for those of you who had one of those subscriptions, who were really happy with it, who saw some great results. This is a lower maintenance way for you to make sure you get all the opportunities that are coming in the future. Let's see. We got, will the stock tickers be the same in Flash 7 and 7 Plus? Yes, that's correct. So if we have 7 stocks that Andrew's trading, the Flash 7 people will just get the stock names. And if you're in Flash 7 Plus, there will be an option trade to go with each of those stocks. That's how it works. Good question. Any other questions that you guys have, put them in the chat. I see some people joining. We actually have a lifetime already, which I love. David H., welcome as a permanent forever option fingerprint trader. I love seeing that. A couple Flash 7 Pluses, also people getting into the options version. For those of you that are still here, what questions do you have? Are you going to join us as a Flash trader? I want to hear it.
Thank you, Robin.
I want to see it. This opportunity is awesome, and it really doesn't come very often. That's why we wanted to make sure that we got this in front of you guys quickly, because like we talked about today, being first to these opportunities is really important. What else do we have here? Are there other, let's see, we already answered that. Here's a good one, Andrew. LB Trader asked, if 40% is the sweet spot, do higher option increases give better results? It's a good
Not
question.
necessarily. It just right now around 40% was the point that gave us the 100% back tested result. So, take that information what you will, but it wasn't necessary that stocks that had a jillion more contracts open, produced a better result. Like it's hard to get better than 100% when you're like,
right.
I don't, nothing is perfect science, but we hit that number and we get that result.
It's pretty close.
okay, so is it possible? Is it possible that sure, it could be, but I think 40% to me is the minimum. Like, I want to see at least this much, because then you get this result. And like, okay, well, that's
and
pretty good.
the other piece there too, LB traders, like, we tested that when we went through with the filters. We moved all of them around. Okay, what happens if I take? Okay, I only want to look at stocks where the option fingerprint has gone up 100%. What did that do to my performance? And it didn't make 100% win rate. Like, we had to find the specific sweet spot that we found with the 4 filters to actually get that win rate. So it might sound it might sound like counterintuitive. You'd think like, oh, a bigger move, it should be a bigger. But at the end of the day, that's why we have CRT. That's why we test these strategies, is because, we can sit here all day and argue about what we think the best way to do it would be, or we can just go find out, which is basically what we did. And once you know, then you just use that. It makes it a whole lot easier for ourselves. So we don't have to, Andrew and I aren't sitting here arguing over what a good option fingerprint looks like. Like, we just know. We know exactly what we should be looking for.
Right. Basically, think of it like we want a fat, healthy gain.
That's correct. 100%. Robin says lifetime is basically 7 quarters, so sounds worth it. Good math, Robin. I love it. I do want to go back, actually, and I'm gonna go back in this slideshow, because I want to revisit some of the real money returns that we have had so far using this. And by the way, I want to highlight for you guys that, this was even before we had the 4 filters. So this was back when we were using as good as we could. This was before we baked the cake. And now we're after we bake the cake and the candles are on top and we're ready for the MAHA opportunity on Monday. Okay. But even from before, you can see here, these are real results. Okay. So you have our gain or loss in that column right there. These are real stock results. And I just challenge you. I just challenge you to answer this, and answer this honestly. Like, in your own portfolio over the last year, do you have stocks that have done this? If you have, that's awesome. That's great.
Some people in here should. They definitely should.
Some people in here should. And hopefully this is you. Now, this is just the stock returns. So when you layer options on top of this can look even better, which is one of the goals in Flash. If you join that options version, if you join the lifetime version, you're going to get those option picks as well. But like, when we talk about this max growth phase, earlier I showed some examples and I said it took Apple 9 years to go from $20 to 200. That's not what's happening here. This is way faster growth, thanks to the filters and thanks to the option fingerprints, because like we covered, stocks don't go up unless the institutional fingerprint is there. That's just how it works. So I see some more lifetimes coming in. I love this.
Yes.
James,
and I have to do capital gains. It's 2:30.
It's okay. You're going to be just 2 minutes late because I have one
She's
more
not
question.
letting me go.
I'm not letting you go. I'm holding you hostage. I just want to welcome everyone who just joined as lifetime members. I'm gonna read you off. Janet S, Harold M, Shibu J, sorry if I said that wrong, James M, Ron W, Robin M.
Wow, great.
Welcome.
You guys. Thanks.
Welcome, lifetime members. I'm so excited to get this tool fully developed and in your guys' hands so you can use it to trade option fingerprints. It's going to be awesome. It's going to make Andrew's life way easier. So we're super excited for that. Andrew, let's just really quick. I know you got to go. But before you leave, I just want to bring this up one more time. Here's what we're dealing with today. Here's the options that you guys have today. We have just the stocks and options, and the lifetime. Again, the phone number is on your screen. If you have any questions, give us a call. If you're at work and you're sneakily watching this presentation and you can't call right now, there's also an email address. So if you want to email us, you can use that. No judgment for watching this when you should be working.
Right.
It'll probably make you more money anyway. But Andrew, Monday is very soon. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with about these opportunities and just genuinely how excited you are for them? Because you trade all of these positions yourself. You've been doing this for a decade.
Every position I have, I'll be putting on. Also on Monday, we talk about how to allocate for this. I know it sounds like an awesome strategy, but I still allocate dollars. So don't forget, we're going to learn about allocation because you want to be able to stay in. Remember, 180 days performance. So you want to be able to stay in. You need to allocate reasonably. And we'll also point out the sectors that I think are going to do and other stocks that will do well with MAHA. So the stocks that I've been watching that hit the 4 metrics that we have. And then the cool part is like the continual list. And that's part of the whole idea of having the app that's coming out, the scanners, that like this will be a dynamic thing. And I'm very excited to make that, to get that happening. I'm jealous of what Mark's been doing over at Alpha AI, and I got a little tinge. So there is a little competition in Option Pit, I have to say, and Mark's been doing very well. So I got to get into the game a little bit there. So these 100%. These are exciting things that are going on in Option Pit. It's our future for sure. And I'm very excited by it. So, but again, starting the stocks, getting your allocations down. We'll talk about all of that when the option trades come out. And then we start, we get our ball rolling. So, and then this little pullback we've had recently, to me, a pullback is always an opportunity to buy something cheaper. So we got very lucky in Flash 10. Flash 5 was more at the top, both Flash 5s, and still ended up working out great. So I'm not worried about when you're looking at long-term options.
Sure.
I'm not too worried about the short-term fluctuation.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's going to do a little pullback before we put the positions on, nobody's going to complain. That's a great place to be before you enter. So it kind of works out well.
It does.
For those of you that are still here, thank you so much for spending 90 minutes of your day with us. I hope you learned something about option fingerprints and why these are important. And even if you don't join us as a member of Flash today, I hope later when you're looking at an option to buy or when you're looking at your first option, this is something you look for. It's going to help you identify better opportunities that are more likely to go up. So as always, take that information with you. And even if you can't join us today, even if the subscription doesn't make sense, which by the way, $2.95 for a quarter for 7 stock opportunities that you should buy with some of the things we showed you.
Get your foot in the door.
That's so insanely affordable.
And get your foot in the door.
If you wanted, let's just play devil's advocate, okay? If you wanted, you could join Flash 7 Stocks and you could just do it for the first quarter and you could cancel. You could only pay $2.95 if you wanted. But do it to try it. Don't just sit there and wait, because it will be another couple months before we have another wave of stocks like this. These just don't happen every week. So it's important, if this makes sense to you, if you looked at what we went through today and you were nodding your head and saying, yeah, I want to capture stocks like Robinhood and I don't know how, this is how you start. So click on that order form. It says click here to join. There's a wiggly button right here. I'm going to release Andrew from my captivity. So click that button. It'll take you to the order form. You got these 3 options. Of course, you can always give us a call. Andrew, thanks so much for your time today. I know you'd rather be trading or tending to your chickens sometimes, but
no, I like being here and doing this. This was a good one because like I said, I need to get on the board with Mark because he's,
Yeah, so we do have that exciting scanner that we are developing, and I love those of you that are taking the lifetime. You will get that included once it launches, and we might even be able to give you a sneak peek and some early access as we're testing it. So that's something really exciting. If you guys do have questions, Ryan just put this in the chat. Stick around. You can ask your questions in the chat room. He'll answer them for you. But thank you guys so much for joining us. This is a really exciting opportunity we're going to be talking about for the next week going into Monday. So stay tuned for more information. And I really encourage you to join Andrew as a Flash member. I'm going to be doing this round. I did Flash 10 and I actually have some results from trading that I'll send you guys over email and I can post and talk about. But I'm a believer. I will be also trading this myself. So make sure that you hop in and try out Flash 7 with us. Thank you, Andrew.
All right, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye, you guys.
Bye bye.
Thanks so much.